all of the nations of the earth as we speak are angry. They're angry because governments cannot suffice the needs of their people. They're angry because a few have gotten wealthy at the expense of the many, and the poor and the sick and the weak and the unlearned multiply. And the value of their lives are diminished by the rich and the powerful, so that when human life is devalued, that in the eyes of man you are unworthy of the gift of life, then it is easy for another human being to take the life of another human being that he or she has devalued. Black life in America is devalued. Hispanic life is devalued. Even poor white life is devalued. There's a way that I have to behave. I'm free, but I'm not free to rob you of yours. I'm not free to take from you what does not belong to me. So if I will construct my life according to these righteous principles, then between man and man, man and woman, peace. Between race and race, peace. Between rich and poor, peace. We have our beautiful Mexican family. This once was theirs. So you can't say to them they are aliens. That's a horrible word to use for former owners. I see my indigenous family here. Many tribes, but they're really one great nation of people that now must be reunited with themselves. So it's their time now, as well as ours, that God would intervene in our affairs and bring the bottom rail to the top. The government is not rehabilitating soldiers. When they send you away to kill. When you come home, they gotta reconstitute you for civilian life again. Make sure you have a job so you can take care of your family, but they're not doing it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, a woman can do anything that a man does, and the only thing he forbids the woman to do is the thing that degrades her. So how high can you go? High as you want to. Why would God allow the female to wear his attributes if you can't be a manifestation of that attribute? Women, you got to be set free. What God has put within you must be cultivated, must be developed, and must be used for the advancement of a nation and a world. I said to myself, Mr. President, why the hell don't you go to the wicked police department? Why the hell don't you stand up and tell them that your killing of black youth and brown youth is not gonna hold no more. Why don't you stand up? God's world is in need of a truth that will set up a government where everybody can live in peace under real freedom, real justice, and real equality. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
You're speaking about bringing these two great faiths together.
Religion as we know it has failed. Submit to the will of God. It makes no difference what our color is. You're making a mess of the religion. Get your act together, Muslim world. You say you love Allah, but you fear America. Stop being a beggar at the gate of white America. Masses of our people are not going forward. White folk don't have the power to keep us in hell if we don't want to stay there.
Do you think that America is ready for black president?
God has always come to the downtrodden. Something has been done to us that must be repaid.
From BNN Headquarters Studio, through your host, Student Minister Rodney Mohammed. And now, the nation speaks. And so listen up, for the nation speaks.
Greetings. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. We give him praise and thanks for Moses and the Torah, for Jesus and the gospel, for Muhammad and the Holy Quran. If we were to live 1,000 years, we could never thank Allah enough for his intervention in our affairs, for raising from among us a divine teacher and guide, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the exalted Christ, the living Christ, and to show his infinite love for us, he gave us an extension of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in the person of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. This wonderful counselor, the Prince of Peace, the morning star, So it is in their great and righteous names that we greet you all with the greeting words of peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum. To my beautiful family out there, the Latino family, the Francophones, meaning the Africans from Central Africa, as well as the Haitian brothers and sisters, we are so honored and humbled to be in the comfort of your home, to present to you a wonderful, wonderful program. And we pray that by the grace of Allah, we might say something that may touch your heart. And so today we have a wonderful, wonderful program for you. And we want to go straight to the most important event of the hour. And that is October 10th, 2015. So first, we're going to speak to our Latino family in their respective language. And then we're going to speak to our Francophones, those who speak French, especially those who came from Central Africa that have been colonized by the French. As we, Haitians, we have been colonized by the French as well. So first, I'd like to ask my technical director for today to put up my announcement in Spanish so that I can talk to my Latino family. Todos los caminos conducen a Washington, D.C. el día 10 de octubre que viene. Reunimos y unámonos con el reverendo ministro Louis Farrakhan en el National Mall en Washington, D.C. este día 10 de octubre 2015. Vaya en línea para descubrir más información. Visita en línea justiceorelse.com. Información de autobús, llama al 617-442-6082. Otra vez, el 617-6082. And now we're going to go to our French-speaking peoples. We want you to know that October the 10th, coming up, is going to be one of the greatest events in the annals of history. Yes, indeed. Tous les chemins mènent à Rome, comme on dit. Mais, tenez-vous bien, le samedi 10 octobre 2015, tous les chemins nous conduisent à Washington, D.C. Et quel est l'événement? Après toutes ces injustices perpétrées contre nous, Abraham dit, c'est assez. Le samedi 10 octobre 2015 marquera un jour J dans l'histoire de ce monde. Inscrivez-vous dans les pages de l'histoire en élevant vos voix à l'unisson avec le révérend, l'honorable ministre Louis Farrakhan pour crier Justice or else. Pour de plus amples informations, visitez en ligne, visitez le site justiceorelse.com ou encore appelez le 617-442-6082. Je répète, le 617-442-6082. Voilà, ce sont des informations importantes que vous devriez savoir. Donc, soyez des nôtres le samedi 10 octobre en cours, le samedi 10 octobre 2015, au mall de Washington, D.C. pour un événement sans précédent. Le 20e anniversaire de Million Men March qui a eu lieu le 6 octobre en 1995. Donc, le 10 octobre 2015, ce sera le 20e anniversaire de ce fameux événement appelé the Million Men March. Donc, and so it's going to be Million Men March Part 2. Just before we get into our subject today, we would like to do some housekeeping items. We would like you to visit our mosque, Mohammed Mosque, number 11, located at 1010, located at 10 Washington Street in the heart of beautiful Grove Hall. Sundays, they're open at 10:30 a.m. And weekdays on Wednesday and on Fridays, doors open at 7 p.m. The Final Call newspaper is out already, so please pick up your own copy of the Final Call. And the title of this week's Final Call is Ferguson Erupts Again. Oh, brothers and sisters, you don't want to miss that, because this is the only newspaper that is on board for, and that will give you the truth as it is. So pick up your own copy of the Final Call. One more item. We would like for you to visit online a petition to free the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Go to moveon.org and please sign the petition. Also, you might want to visit black365movement.org. This is a website. This is an organization that your servant, Brother Raphael, speaking live to you, has co-founded, has co-authored. And so visit black365movement.org. And so now I'd like to give you an idea of our topic for this evening. The topic is why I, Brother Raphael, I am a Muslim. This is a very interesting topic, and so stay tuned. We're going back to our clip to give you further information about 10-10-15, October the 10th, 2015. Stay tuned.
All of the nations of the earth as we speak are angry. They're angry because governments cannot suffice the needs of their people. They're angry because a few have gotten wealthy at the expense of the many, and the poor and the sick and the weak and the unlearned multiply. And the value of their lives are diminished by the rich and the powerful, so that when human life is devalued, that in the eyes of man you are unworthy of the gift of life, then it is easy for another human being to take the life of another human being that he or she has devalued. Black life in America is devalued. Hispanic life is devalued. Even poor white life is devalued. There's a way that I have to behave. I'm free, but I'm not free to rob you of yours. I'm not free to take from you what does not belong to me. So if I will construct my life according to these righteous principles, then between man and man, man and woman, peace. Between race and race, peace. Between rich and poor, peace. We have our beautiful Mexican family. This once was theirs. So you can't say to them they are aliens. That's a horrible word to use for former owners. I see my indigenous family here. Many tribes, but they're really one great nation of people that now must be reunited with themselves. So it's their time now, as well as ours, that God would intervene in our affairs and bring the bottom rail to the top.
Greetings again. My name is Brother Raphael. I'm the executive producer of this program, The Nation Speaks, here on BNN TV. And we are transmitting live into your homes. Today I wanted to bear witness, as Allah be my witness. I wanted to share with you a very short topic. Why I, Brother Raphael, I am a Muslim. A better question would be, why have I chosen to be the follower of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? The answer is simple. Wait not for the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I would not know who God is. I would not know who I am. And certainly not, I would not know what I am. Equally important, I would not know who Satan is, who the enemy of God is, who my enemy is, and how to wisely deal with my foes and enemies. Wait not for the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, with all the pressure of this enemy day in and day out. I would have not been able to remember my own name. And so we thank Allah, though we could never thank Allah enough for His intervention in our affairs and for His teachings through the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and his reminder, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I want to speak from my heart. There is no need to have a script because I have to bear witness of the greatness of God into my life. Early back in 2008, I was visited by the three-letter organizations. And truth to be told, at first, I had a little palpitation of the heart. And I thank Allah for His intervention in my affairs. I went and counseled with one of the greatest ministers in the nation of Islam, Minister Don Muhammad. And out of the love for his people, he said, brother, meet me every Tuesday, early, bright and early in the morning. And we would have coffee together. And so he began to counsel me, and he began to nurture my heart and guide me. And so, as my faith increased in Allah, as I see the light and walk therein, I, Brother Raphael, have become stronger and stronger in my faith. But wait not for the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Wait not for the teachings of Allah through the mouth of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and through his reminder, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I, Brother Raphael, would not be able to bear witness today. I, Brother Raphael, would not be able to be before you and smile. You know why I do smile? Because just like my teacher, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I, myself, can say the Lord is my shepherd. You know, when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was under the teachings of Master Farad Muhammad, 3.5 years later, Master Farad Muhammad was departing from his student, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not, he felt that he was not strong yet enough. And then he begged him not to leave. And Master Farad Muhammad said, it is time for me to go. It is expedient that I go away. And so he left a paper in the palm hands of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Would you like to know what that paper said? That's Psalm 23, one of the greatest prayers you can recite. And I recite this prayer every day. And every day I take comfort in God. By whatever name you call him, Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh. If you call him, if you trust in him, and say like David, the psalmist, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He leadeth me in green pastures, he restores my soul. He dresses a table before me in the very presence of my own enemies. He anoints my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Why not, Brother Raphael? Because Allah is with me. I'm like 7 zeros, but once I have Allah, that one before me, we are a mighty force to reckon with. And so, why, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil? Because Allah is with me. And as long as Allah is with me, I shall continue to be victorious over my foes and enemies. We're going to take a short break, and we will come back with the mouthpiece of God. Take it or let it alone. But if I were you, I would visit the mosque and receive the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You don't have to become a Muslim, but go and check it out. Check the truth that God has revealed to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And now, through his reminder, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and you will come away a better individual, a better person. And so, I implore you, check the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and you will be able to deal wisely with your foes and enemies. I leave you as I came with the best greeting of peace and love Assalamu alaikum. As we're about to play the clip for 10-10-15, October the 10th, 2015, probably the greatest dates yet to come in the annals of history. Be part of history on October the 10th, 2015. As I greet you in peace, Assalamu alaikum.
Hours that God would intervene in our affairs and bring the bottom rail to the top. The government is not rehabilitating soldiers. When they send you away to kill. When you come home, they gotta reconstitute you for civilian life again. Make sure you have a job so you can take care of your family, but they're not doing it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says a woman can do anything that a man does, and the only thing he forbids the woman to do is the thing that degrades her. So how high can you go? High as you want to. Why would God allow the female to wear his attributes if you can't be a manifestation of that attribute? Women, you got to be set free. What God has put within you must be cultivated, must be developed, and must be used for the advancement of a nation and a world. I said to myself, Mr. President, why the hell don't you go to the wicked police department? Why the hell don't you stand up and tell them that your killing of black youth and brown youth is not gonna hold no more? Why don't you stand up? God's world is in need of a truth that will set up a government where everybody can live in peace under real freedom, real justice, and real equality.
My dear and beloved brothers and sisters, we're about to watch a great interview by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan with the Breakfast Club. And so, please pay attention to the word from the servant of Allah, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Real celebrities, real talk.
Join the Breakfast Club. Weekday morning, 6 to 10.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlemagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club, and we have a special, amazing guest with us this morning.
I mean, you say special guests a lot, but we really have a very special guest.
Absolutely.
Here today. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir.
82 years young, look better than all of us.
No, I'm not going to say that.
Now, when's the last time you did, I guess, terrestrial radio?
Oh, earlier this year, I think, WVON in Chicago. I don't do much interviews or whatnot. I always have felt since the 70s or 80s, when I did interviews, the media, they sent their best at me, And when they could not defeat our arguments, they decided to ban me from television. And they banned me from going to black colleges and even white colleges to deliver a message. So for all intents and purposes, many people thought I had died because they didn't see me on television. But that's been changing now. And for me to be on your show, it's a great honor to me, because the audience that I'm really interested in is our young people.
Absolutely.
And I thank God that you gave me this opportunity. Our young people represent the strongest and the best generation that we've ever had. They're not the wisest, but they are the best because they are fearless.
Right.
And when you see fearless young men and women, that's the generation that God's hand is on, because that's the generation that will fulfill the promise of the ancestors who died struggling for true freedom, justice, and liberation. But the young are the generation that will deliver on that promise with the right leadership.
Now I want to bring it back, because the bad thing about yourself is you're not in the history books. Like, they banned you from social studies, so you have to Google everything. And with Googling you and learning your information, you're from Harlem, and you started off as a musician. And you went to Boston, and then while you were out in Chicago, explain to the people how you got involved with the Nation of Islam.
I was a musician. I grew up with the violin, and then I learned that I could sing, and I sang ballads. My parents being from the Caribbean, I learned to sing calypso.
Calypso music.
And I had many recordings and played in nightclubs. And I was in Chicago at a nightclub called the Blue Angel. And I was the featured performer. The name of the show was Calypso Follies. And this was in 1954. And I heard at that time that there was a Savior's Day convention. Some of my friends brought me there in February of '55. And I heard Elijah Muhammad. I wasn't quite ready to join a new religion.
Okay.
But I was upset as a Christian, because I wondered why white Christians treated black Christians so badly and yet said we were all from the same God. That didn't ring well with me. And my pastor never addressed the condition of racism in America and the suffering of black people under that kind of tyranny. So when I heard Elijah Muhammad, I took out my form, and it got lost, but I still wasn't quite ready.
Okay.
But when I came back to New York, where I was living, I went to the mosque, and I heard Brother Malcolm. And, you know, Elijah Muhammad said that God was a man. And when I heard Malcolm, I said, maybe this is he. Because I never heard a black man talk like he talked. So I became a Muslim and a student under him. And today, of course, we are at that point in our development where we are being forced now to consider which is the way forward. singing in, wading in, crying in, praying in, has not worked. Marches have not worked. And the oppression and the tyranny is getting worse. So we decided on the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March to return to the Capitol. The first time we went, it was on atonement, reconciliation, responsibility. We wanted black men to accept the responsibility of being a man and standing up for our women and our children and creating that sense of strong family again. But this time, well, I'll put it like this. Elijah Muhammad said to me one day I'm going to call a march. And that march will be for justice. And he said it won't be like the march in '63 where people were laughing and frolicking and having a good time. When you say you're going for justice and jobs, that's no time to party. That's a time to be serious, because the cry for justice against the forces who uphold injustice, now you got to have a mind now. What are you going to do to move the forces of injustice if they won't bow to the truth that should bring justice? And at that point, we're in the valley of decision. We've been living in the valley of the shadow of death, but we've been doing the dying. So we got some serious decisions to make as a people. And I intend to put that before the Congress, before the government, before the Department of Justice, the President, but more importantly, to put it before us as a people. What are we going to do to prepare a future for our children and our grandchildren? Do you have children?
4.
4. How about you?
I have a 6-year-old girl and 1 on the way.
May God bless those children to have a future.
Yes, sir. I just want to keep them off reality TV.
Well, we got to keep them off a lot of things.
Yeah.
But the main thing is a decision that we as parents make. Every generation that we've produced has confronted white racism. Every generation. It doesn't get better. We're 50 years now from the March on Washington with Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement. And a few months ago, we were in Selma celebrating Bloody Sunday that made Lyndon Baines Johnson sign a voting rights bill in Congress, did that. And in 2013, the Supreme Court comes back and guts the protection aspect of the bill. So where are we? Can we really keep going like this? Or is it better, since we're going to die anyway, why not make a difference and pay the price to be free?
I saw you back in November. You said you gave a speech and you spoke on the riots in Ferguson, and you said you feel people will only listen to black concerns if it's violence against white people.
I didn't quite say it like that.
Well, I don't want to misquote you. You know, I'm here for you. I'm not that other kind of media.
But the only thing they want to know is when they kill us, are you all going to be peaceful? Well, should we be? That's a question we got to keep asking ourselves. Everybody that stands up for us, they say, is this going to be a peaceful demonstration? How can peace be there if there's no justice there and the government is weak to stand up for us and we pay the taxes of these people that shoot us down? We pay the taxes for an education that does not educate us properly, that we can come out of school and do something for ourselves. We got to go back and beg them for what we could unite and do for ourselves. We've got some serious decisions to make.
Now, when you say that, I understand and I feel you. But part of my problem is I feel like they don't look at us until the riots happen. But I see so many of us, young black individuals, getting arrested, getting those Fs on our records. And then later on in life, it's almost like because we stand up, they give us nothing after, and we can't have anything after because we have a felony on our record. We can't get a job. We can't help raise our children. We can't do a lot of those things. So what can we do?
We have to decide, do you still want to live under that?
No.
Or do we want to confront the government and say, like Moses said to Pharaoh, let my people go? Damn it, if we can't get justice, if we can't have peace, if our children are dying in the streets and there's no redress for our grievances, why the hell should we stay here and continue to live like this and then join an army and go somewhere and fight for the same damn enemy that's doing what he's doing to us? We got to make a decision, and there's not much time left to play with life and to play with the future of our children. And all these weak leaders that are apologists for tyranny, they have to get out of the way, because our children are angry. I would not mislead them in their anger to do something to get them killed or slaughtered. But there is a verse in the Quran that says persecution is worse than slaughter. Look at your brother, the Palestinians in Gaza. They have nothing. So no court of redress has addressed the grievances of the Palestinian people. So these are children with stones in their hands against tanks and against the armed might of the Israeli Defense Force. But they don't care because they're dead already. So now Israel is looking bad all over the world for what they're doing to the Palestinians. And now coming out of Crimea, coming out of Russia, coming out of China, there's anger over there for what America is allowing to have done to us. So America's looking bad because we want to go all over the world telling other people about their denial of human rights, and we're the biggest criminals of all to black and brown and poor people. So it's time now. Somebody got to make a decision.
When you did the Million Man March in 1995, did you think 20 years later in 2015 we'd still have to march for justice? Or did you think things would get better?
No, I never thought it would get better just by marching. But the enemy is so frightened. We called for 1 million and nearly 2 million men showed up. That's an army. I didn't rile the army up and say, let's go fight. I said, look at this. This was the most peaceful demonstration in the largest gathering of black men anywhere in the world. They went back home to their families, to their wives, to their children. We took 25,000 orphans and gave them homes. Brothers and sisters registered to vote. What did we get out of it? We helped our brother get in office, and we were so excited and proud to have our first black president. And then when our brothers in Baltimore, I mean, that's a city where black folk have been catching hell for a long time. When they rise up, our president refers to them as
thugs.
thugs and criminals. I want to say to Brother Barack, you know, when the highest office in the land can look at our children and call them thugs and criminals, unwittingly, he's sentencing them to death by the forces that deal with thugs and criminals. They're not thugs. They're not criminals. They're angry young people and older people who have stores in the community. We should own the stores and serve our own needs, but you have Koreans there now. They serve us, well, we get hair, we get nails, we get our feet done. They don't respect us. We have Palestinians and Arabs there serving us. Regardless to their suffering back in their homeland, they don't handle us with the respect of somebody that's taken money out of our community, and they don't leave nothing in the black community. They take our money and they go build Koreatown, they go build other towns while we're sitting here with nothing. All of this got to stop. And the only one that's going to stop it is us. But the war that we got to fight is on two fronts. We can't go to Washington and tell the government, step up, you stop killing us. And Mayor Giuliani comes up and says 75% of the people that die in the hood are black people killing black people. He's not lying. So we've got to go in our community and straighten that out. They are not guilty in our community. This is what you call social engineering. The enemy planned this and did it. And pardon me, you know, I'm very passionate.
Oh, talk, brother. Talk,
you
talk,
can see,
talk.
because I don't have no time to waste. I'm an old man, and I don't foot around with the truth because we don't have time for diplomatic language. We got to say it like it is and then back it up with our lives if necessary. I'm 82. I don't know how much time I got, but I want to leave this world with our people in a better state. But sometimes it's going to take the sacrifice of life to produce a better tomorrow. So the Tea Party, not the present political Tea Party, but the Tea Party that in Boston dumped all the tea that they used to make money in the harbor. That was a criminal act from the vantage point of King George. But on the side of those who were suffering under the tyranny of the Crown of England, it was an act of rebellion that led to a war that brought America into existence. So I'm saying this to our president and to others. These are not thugs and criminals. They have been put in a condition by thugs and by criminals. Now let me bring them to the witness stand and see who these criminals are.